Welcome to another. It occurred to me that we haven't officially explained what this is. So we are going to get together and we each have a topic and we're going to share what that topic is. And then we're all going to riff or brainstorm on that topic. Have I said it correctly?
I don't understand. Confused. Wait.
Somewhere down the line, we'll probably have to come up with a better intro.
Yeah.
Even than that. All right. Well, I will go first. Okay. We went to the Caribbean a while back. This was a few years ago. And one of the excursions that we took was to swim with the stingrays. And one of the big things that they talk about when you go swim with the stingray is, well, first of all, what struck me is swimming with the stingrays is a unique sort of a thing. You can also swim with the dolphins, but they don't do that with other animals. Like you can't go into other animal habitats. You know, they don't have climbing with the sloths. You know, they don't have hunting with tigers or feasting with jackals. There's just a limited number of life forms that you can interact with in their form. So we go out on the boat to what they call Stingray City. And it's basically a sandbar. So the city is a sandbar. And we're on the way out to the city, and it's this on the way out to the sandbar, and the guy pulls out a knife and starts cutting up squid. And he says, you get to feed these to the stingrays. The stingrays are not dangerous. And then he tells you how to feed a squid to a stingray. He says, you want to hold the squid in your hand like this and be sure to tuck in your thumb. And I was like, why do you have to tuck in your thumb? If they aren't dangerous, you shouldn't really have to tuck anything, right? I mean, if these are harmless creatures, I should be able to walk around out there with everything hanging out. So apparently what happens is the squids have these powerful suctions in their mouth, and they can latch right onto your thumb, and then they are hard to get off, I guess. If you'd ever, I always tuck my thumb, but apparently if you don't, you know, a stingray will get a hold of your thumb. Now, then he says, now when you get out to Stingray City, you're not actually going to want to pick up any stingrays. Don't actually pick them up. And I was looking around at the other people in the boat, and I thought, who's going to do that? Who's going to do probably the most unwise thing you could possibly do with a stingray? We've never been in close proximity to a stingray before. I'm just going to reach out and grab a hold of it. That's like the guide at the Grand Canyon. When they're on your way out to the Grand Canyon saying, now when we get to the canyon, you're not going to want to dangle over the edge by your fingertips.
You're not going to want to pick up the rattlesnakes.
Right.
Don't pick up the rattlesnakes.
So we get out there, and then he shows us, seriously, after telling us that you're going to want to be careful around these stingrays, he shows us the proper way to hold and kiss a stingray. So that's the whole reason that we're on the boat, basically.
Ask permission first.
So that we can, this is an animal I just recently learned has the ability to suck my thumb off if I don't tuck it in. And now he's telling me how to put it in a lip lock. So that was it. We went out and we fed the stingrays. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention before I turn it over to you guys is that we also went to a turtle farm, and we saw, no kidding, what was labeled as the world's most aggressive turtle. The world's most aggressive turtle. And I was like, yikes, give it room. I think it's charging. We're going to have to wait a couple of minutes to be sure.
You're okay now, but in about 10 minutes, we're in trouble if we don't do something.
You're assuming it's physically aggressive. What if it's aggressive in other ways?
Like
it's got a very aggressive side eye.
Emotionally aggressive.
The passively aggressive turtle.
Right.
Just doesn't let you know, though. Just giving you the cold shoulder.
You try to feed it lettuce, and it's like, it's a very passive aggressive turtle.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, you're talking about swimming with the stingrays. That's like, yeah, running with the lions. Like, stupid things. And
there is running with the bulls.
Yeah, running with the bulls is very dumb, too. They sit there and they say, oh, you can, don't have your thumb out. Yeah, you should be able to just walk around like a waiter, at a cocktail party with squid just going, squid, anyone? Squid. So,
Right.
uh,
Well, they tell us that they're not aggressive, that they won't hurt you, but you have to shuffle your feet when you're out on the sandbar. They don't want you taking full steps because they'll bury themselves in the sand, and if you step on them, then they will sting you. But they're not aggressive, and it's like if you get stung, does it matter what his attitude was? Does it matter, why he was doing it?
yeah, here's this barbed wire fence. You want to shuffle your feet. It's not aggressive. It's not aggressive, but
Right.
you could get cut open.
Right. They won't sting you on purpose, but if you step on them, they'll sting you because you've surprised them. Like, well, either way, you get stung. Mm-hmm. I don't really care what was going on in his mind. I don't care what his motive was.
I don't know. I also get a feeling that, like, you weren't necessarily there to feed the stingrays. It was more of a date. It was really more of a date. You're going to go out to dinner and then get a little smooch at the end. Like,
right. We found that out later.
Yeah, this guy's just like, I love stingray. They're beautiful creatures, and if I could choose to be with one, I would. Now, this one over here, you guys get all the others. That one's mine. And then I just want to have a nice conversation with my little lady and maybe get a little smooch on the cheek, a little smooch in the lips. But
you actually hold them up. You actually hold them up and smooch them like underside. If you hold them up like this, it kind of looks like a little smiley face. It's got like a little
I'd like to think that the kissing wasn't originally part of the program, but everybody was doing it, that they were like, okay, we got to teach them how to do this correctly.
How to do it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole thumbs thing makes me wonder if that wasn't just a prank that one of them pulled. He was like, yeah, I lost my thumb. And then now everybody just has to tuck their thumbs.
Right.
It's been legally eased out.
Yeah.
It was very much a thing that was suggested while we were en route to Stingray City. It wasn't like that was part of the brochure. They just said, "Oh, by the way, out here you're gonna pick them up. We're gonna show you how to kiss it." And we're like, "This was nowhere in the brochure." So this was completely their idea. It's not like people were murmuring about it on the boat. Do you suppose it's all right what if we decide we want to make out? Can we make out with the stingrays? Can we do that?
You can't stick out your tongue. It'll
right. So it's not like the guy stood up and goes, I hear a lot of people asking if it's okay to kiss the stingrays. The answer is yes. I mean, it was very much, they sort of coerced us into doing it.
Because had you gone there and picked up a stingray, would you be like, you know what? I got to kiss it. It's just a kissable creature.
Mm-hmm.
I also think of, that's the price the stingrays pay for getting the free squid. It's like, all right, I got to kiss some people, but I'll get my squid.
Right. It's like, you want this squid? Pucker up, which just makes me feel cheap.
Stingray City implies that there's some sort of structure or some sort of infrastructure, but it sounds like it's just a sandbar.
Stingray City?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way it's advertised as Stingray City, and that's what I was expecting. I was expecting, a mayor and a board of trustees and, some zoning laws. Did you notice that Brian just disappeared?
I did. I think he's booking a flight to wherever Stingray City is. He is hooked.
We thought we had his problem fixed, but apparently we do not. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when he comes in. All right. Well, that's all I have on Stingray City and the world's most aggressive turtle. And I think that this was a representation of the world's. I think that particular turtle represented the entire group of aggressive turtles. I don't think it was literally the world's most aggressive turtle, because how would you know that? How would you know you had the world's most aggressive turtle?
Yeah. Is that a title he has to defend once in a while?
I don't know.
Other turtles challenge him.
Put him up with 3 or 4 other apparently aggressive turtles and see which one of them, which one of them shoves the others out of a circle, or
that's funny.
Sort of turtle fisticuffs.
I sent you that video of the beetle, right? who climbed the tree, and then he had to battle all the other beetles, and they throw each other off the limb, and then they land on the. He's trying to get up to the female, but he's got to go through this whole line of beetles.
No.
Yeah, like they were nicknaming him like the Yeet Beetle or something like that, where they wrestle and then he tosses them over the edge.
Just throw each other off the yeah. And the last beetle on the branch gets the girl.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back, Brian.
Thank you. I don't know what's going on with my internet, but
it's still weird. It's not going to upload.
This seems like a new thing now because now I'm down to 8%.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, I was running at about 99, and then it started to go down a bit. So,
and then it crashed.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But this probably won't be right. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, are we still on your topic of the stingrays?
Mm-hmm.
Why do people feel the need to go out and mess with nature and animals and wild animals? Like, I don't understand the desire for that. You see like the videos of people at like a safari drive-through and they like get out of their car. Mm-hmm. You go, it's tiger. We have this thing that could kill you. We're going to let you in because we assume that you're smart enough to not, roll down the window or in the case of a stingray, step on it. We're just going to, you know what? Bring the kids. Bring the kids. Why not? Dangle it out over the edge. See if that gets the tiger to come closer.
Well, particularly when you're going to a completely different environment that's not part of our human environment.
Right.
You're going out swimming with stingrays. We are not aquatic creatures. We are, technically we're not even really amphibians. We can go in the water, but we don't live a portion of our life in the water, most of us. But there's other regions, again, that we don't go to. Like they don't have Shiver with the Penguins,
right.
Where you go out and, man, it's cold, isn't it? And you just sort of sit there. You just hunker in the Arctic wind.
Mm-hmm. They should just do that with like swimming with the sharks. All right, now we got some chum for you guys. Mm-hmm. Now you want to tuck in your thumb. Because that's going to be a bad thing if you don't tuck in your thumb.
You don't feed the chiggers, or you just go out and sit in shorts on the side of a hill.
You play date with fire ants.
I feel like animals do that with us sometimes. Like maybe that's what mosquitoes are thinking. Let's go to Human City. Let's see what they're up to.
Mm-hmm. Kiss them.
And kiss them.
Well, they do. They don't fare well either. They don't.
Yeah.
The possums and the deer. They'll come into Human City and try to mosey around in our environment,
trying to find food,
try to eat.
I just think that's interesting. Like, what other ways? Why do people do stupid things like that?
It makes Jurassic Park all the more believable to me.
Yeah,
like it would totally sell out the day they open.
I want to go pet the T-Rex.
There's no question that's. I think that's the reason that dinosaurs became extinct, because if they continued to live, and interact with human beings, we would have tried to domesticate them, and we would have pet T-Rexes that we would be walking around the neighborhood, letting them poop on our neighbor's yard.
Forget you got to scoop that up.
Mm-hmm.
Pick that up. Be kind to your neighbor.
Okay. What are you thinking about, Luke?
I've got, when we were pregnant with our first child, we went through the house and we baby proofed everything as much as we could to protect the baby. But no one ever talked with us about how to protect the house from the kids. Because you have to house proof the children as they get older as well. Like one day my wife, Amanda, heard at the top of the stairs, she'll hear you. And she comes around and it's my youngest son in a laundry basket at the top of the stairs. And they don't prepare you for that. Because I grew up with a sister and 2 girl cousins. And we just didn't break a lot of stuff. And I never realized how much boys hate lampshades. Like they don't last a week in my house. We had them break 2 in one day with kicks and footballs and stuff.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and they've changed. Kids have changed the way we evaluate purchases. Because we were thinking about a leather couch, and we're like, no, that's not gonna happen. What I've realized is whatever a zoo would put inside a gorilla cage is okay to come in the house. And yeah, we go through. At this point, I bring lampshades to baby showers. Now it's like, here, you're gonna need this. That's
Like, what are these for? You'll see.
Yeah.
Is there a difference for the way girls act and destroy? Is there different things that they destroy?
The girls tend to destroy things with art. They'll color on the walls. They'll paint, and it'll bleed all over the table. The boys, it's just violence, violence in sports.
Violence versus vandalism with girls.
Right.
That's funny. If you think about things coming with a label that says "keep away from children," but they don't put that on laundry baskets. They don't put it. Everything should have a keep away from children at a certain age. Right. Everything should come with a warning, because children will figure out a way to do violence and destruction with literally anything that they have.
Yeah, we can't move a single piece of furniture without finding an infestation of Nerf bullets. That's just part of our life now. They're everywhere.
We should do toys. Toys should have a warning: keep away from children. Like all of the Fisher Price things, do not not intended for children under the age of 3. And it's like, it's a rattle. Exactly. Do not.
You think it's a rattle, or is it like a club? Mm-hmm. Is it a mace?
You can't imagine what they will do with these things. These safe, safe toys.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the more I guess mundane type of toys or things that you would think would be safe, and what do they turn it into? So like you said, like a rattle, to an adult, it's a rattle, but to a boy, it's
a club.
It's a club.
It's a jousting spear.
Yep.
We had Nerf balls, and the thing about Nerf balls is they're safe. You can play with them in the house. It's like, yeah, the Nerf ball is not going to do any damage, but the children going after the Nerf ball, and tackling each other. Children are not made of foam, and so we broke a lot of things with Nerf items.
It's just the thing I seem to be buying, and they're not that cheap, a lampshade, and it's just over and over, and you can't fix them because then they don't sit right. And so, for some reason, that's the thing that always gets destroyed.
That's why they invented the in-ceiling recessed lighting.
Recessed lighting, yeah.
That's where that comes from. It was somebody that had kids, and they were like, got to be another way to have light in here that they can't.
We are sick of spending 30% of our household budget on lampshades. What can we do? We can bury the lamps in the ceiling.
Surely they can't get them there, right?
Surely they will be safe there. And then they hit them with a Nerf ball.
And now, that's all you've now done is created a target course for target practice.
Yeah, they're like bugs. They're just drawn to the lights. Like must hit these.
Are there any particular toys that are worse for that besides like Nerf?
No, little footballs are generally, or anything ball shaped that they can play catch with.
Or not ball shaped. Anything that fits in their hand and can be thrown.
Yeah.
Anything that a child is able to lift becomes a hazard. Mm-hmm. So the safest toys are toys that weigh more than the child and have no handles or ridges or ways with which it can be. Basically, if you could get a sort of a dome, it's flat on the bottom, but it's a dome piece of iron, it's completely smooth. And you set that in the middle of the floor. It would be difficult for your child to do a tremendous amount of damage. Now they could fall into it and bust their own faces with it. And then you have to take them to the hospital. But yeah, you want to stay away from toys that a child is able to lift up.
Back in the day, people used to light their homes with like oil lamps. Mm-hmm. I don't know how every house with children didn't just burn to the ground.
Many of them did.
You just never heard stories.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully,
Well,
Nerf was a later invention.
wasn't that how the Great Chicago Fire started? Somebody's kid kicked over an oil lamp. Oh, it was a cow, I guess. But
Is that
same
really?
thing. Yeah.
Oh.
That's the lore, anyway. I mean, I don't have any proof, but I guess it was some lady had a cow out in the barn and kicked over a lamp, and that was it. It
Some
started
cow
the fire.
horsing around.
I heard it was a really aggressive turtle, is what I heard.
It was a pyromaniac bovine.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Like, we just fought. And I think the other thing you get to look forward to is once the teenage years happen, the toys become greater. Like, my brother and I, we grew up in a time where they had a thing called COD, which was cash on delivery. So you could order stuff out of magazines and it would just show up. Like, there was no verification of age. So my brother ordered every martial arts weapon known to man. I mean, we're talking, shurikens, which are the throwing stars. We're talking, caltrops, which are the spikes that you throw on the floor. Anything, clubs and nunchucks and sais and all sorts of just all these martial arts weapons. And my brother and I fought daily. And so then I was just like, no, stop giving him more things to hit me with. Like, no, this is getting worse. Because then it was like, hey, Brian, come here. Try this. The way kids do.
It's a Catan.
Yeah.
They was just in the back of a highlights magazine. You could order weapons.
It was martial arts magazine, yeah, like Black Belt magazine or whatever. And it was like, here, get some nunchucks, and here, get.
Yeah, COD was a thing for a while, but you can't do that anymore for some reason.
Yeah, wonder why. It's a good thing. It protects people.
They don't do cash on delivery anymore.
But yeah, so then the item would come in, and the first we would try it together, and then it was against each other. So. So my old house had just holes in the wall from ninja stars and, BBs when we get BB guns and just so many things. We were reckless as kids. So I think it's good that at least the stuff you're dealing with now is like Nerf. And my friends and I used to go and have firework fights, Roman candle fights with each other. We'd go to like a quarry and just, you get a little cloth and you hold it and light it and you run around shooting it at each other. And we actually got to the point where we put Roman candles on our bikes. We put little tubes on our handlebars. And we're playing like Road Warrior, Mad Max.
That's some Twisted Metal stuff right there.
Yeah, exactly. Some Twisted Metal. So thankfully there's no COD now. So you can't just order fireworks easily and have it sent to your house, and you can't have ninja weapons sent to your house, and your kids are like, here's my $20.
All right. Go, Brian, with your 16%.
I should just stop now so it starts to by the time you guys finish. That's the thing. I just go first and then just leave, and then eventually by the time you guys are done,
It'll be uploaded about the right time.
I don't know. I guess I'm in the long lines. I don't know if you guys know. I don't really like people. I'm just tired of people who are being super judgmental over every little thing. It's like, you like that? You can't like that. How do you like that? It's like, just let people like what they like at this point, you're 40 and you watch this. Like, shut up. Who cares? Like, I watch pro wrestling. I'm a 50-year-old man. I watch pro wrestling, and people are like, you watch pro wrestling. It's fake, right? It's fake? Really? Oh, is that so? That's fake? Oh, I didn't know that. But let me ask you this. What do you watch? Walking Dead? That's real. So that makes it totally okay to watch, right? Because Walking Dead is real. How dare I try to go into a different, thing than you? I've never understood the people who just bash pro wrestling. It's fake, right? Look, you got some really attractive, in shape people that I'm very jealous of that can do things that I could never do. They tell good stories. And you know what? If you're into politics, if people who are really into politics and go to rallies, you watch pro wrestling. If you watch political news, you watch talk, Fox News or MSNBC, you're watching pro wrestling. Talk news and the media and pro wrestling are essentially the same thing. And here's why pro wrestling is better. because you always have the same things. You have the three word chants like, USA, or, yes, we can, or whatever. Hope and change. There's all those slogans that people can chant in the crowd. They have those at both. There's always one person telling you why the other side's evil and they're going to steal and they're bad and they need to be stopped, and it's all fear, and we're going to beat them up or whatever. And so you have all these things, and you have the tribalism, one side going for the other, and they're shouting back and forth and making noise. And at the end of the day, pro wrestling's better. Like, wouldn't you like to just see the upcoming debate between Trump and Joe Biden? Wouldn't you like to see someone just come run on stage and hit them both with a steel chair? I at least get that joy.
That's right. Politics could use more suplexes.
Absolutely. More steel chairs, definitely. We have Jewish space lasers. Clang. We're going to give all our money to everybody else. Clang. Like, no, let's... no, can we stop this? So I don't understand the hatred of that when people are so into everything else.
It is a good point that people complain about it not being real, for like everything else that we watch on television is.
Right.
That's the reason we tune in to television, is because we want to see perfect reality back at us. We want what we see on TV to be exactly like our regular lives.
You don't want it to be real, because then every movie in Hollywood, you're going to have someone like me as the leading man. Like, oh, what's this? Like, there's going to be a completely different thing. And like soap operas are real. Oh yeah. Here's somebody with their evil twin, and someone gets pregnant, and then 3 weeks later the baby's born, and 9 months later it's teenager. So ridiculous. It's not real. Well,
it's people doing stunts. It's a one-ring circus.
Wrestling.
Is what you're watching. And there's different levels of it. Like, there's the professional WWE or F or whatever it is now. And then you've got the backyard people who build a ring in their backyard and they're jumping off their roof. That's a little bit more real. Still a lot of it's staged. And then you have like the cell phone videos of the guys who are just really fighting, like over a woman, and it's just brutal. And that's actually hard to watch. I'd almost rather watch people who are friends in real life throw each other around than watch a guy actually lose a tooth.
Well, actual fights are not that interesting to watch, most of them.
There's a lot of verbal just yelling usually.
Well, and there's a lot of stuff that you can't see too. Like wrestling is choreographed so that you can actually see what's going on. But a real fight, people get down on the ground and they wrestle, and it's not that interesting to watch.
Right. I mean, there's a story built in so that, it's interesting. Someone's getting their butt kicked for this amount of time, they come back, whatever, and it can play out over months. But usually, the good guy gets their revenge or whatever, but the other stuff is not. Although that would be kind of funny if you had like a real fight, but before you fought, you had to like change into like an outfit. You know what I mean? You get beef at the bar, like, you want to take this outside? All right. And then you have to like go and change into your costumes or your gear.
Like real for a street fight.
Real fights never have entertaining announcers. Like, that's really what makes pro wrestling, is the energy of the announcers. You don't get that with a real fight.
You usually just get, hit him. And the crowd's not chanting USA or guy in black. They're not, there's none of that.
Right.
And they say, it's fake, but how do you fake falling through like a table? How do you fake gravity's not fake.
Right. The effects of gravity are real. Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's real. Yeah, there's aspects of it are real.
I mean, it's silly, don't get me wrong, but
well, it is silly. And it's kind of like people who are really into wrestling, adults who are really into wrestling come off like adults who are really into comic books. It's like, I get it. It's an art. It's a story. There's drama. I understand the appeal, but there's just no way that you're going to get away from the stigma of being a guy that reads comic books. You know what I mean? It's like you don't see grown-up people like in smoking jackets with the
Cognac.
snifter of brandy in their hand and a cigar, sitting in their lounge with a comic book, right? It's always something else.
Tonight, I think I'll sit back and relax with a nice Superman number 12.
Right. And they also don't sit there in their smoking jackets in their lounge with a cigar watching wrestling. So it's never going to be culturally acceptable.
Do people still sit around with smoking jackets and
Yes.
do that?
Yeah, there's a lot. Anybody that watches television, I know when I watch television, I have to have a smoking jacket on.
Do you smoke with it? That's the thing.
No,
It could be a lounge jacket.
Just a lounge jacket.
But again, people
a
watch
full bathrobe, a full satin bathrobe, and
I can't watch
and a
it. It's
dickie.
not real. Oh, but you're fine watching every Marvel movie and quoting that, and that's totally fine.
No, it's the same thing. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
One is not cooler than the other.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I just never understand I stopped watching that when I was like 13 when I found out it was fake. Well, okay. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go watch Breaking Bad because that's real. Like, watch what you watch, like what you like, do what you want to, like, enjoy the hobbies you want to enjoy. Like, you're not getting the connection here that this is not real.
Right? You don't win points. Yeah.
How do you feel about like BattleBots?
Oh, that's great.
You love that? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's not fake.
Nope.
That's real.
And I love seeing the heartbreak on the operators that they like. It just breaks down in the middle, and then the other thing just comes over and starts slugging it, or watch whatever. I grew up with sports and competition, and I boxed, I wrestled, and martial arts. So like, I'm all for.
I would make one out of a lampshade just so it could get vengeance.
That's what they need. They need more lampshade
BattleBot?
matches.
Yeah. I want to see a lampshade actually win a fight. I've only ever seen him lose.
What could it possibly be? That's the question.
The BattleBots is interesting because you got all of these teams who put a lot of hours and money into these machines that go out and just get destroyed. And then some of them, though, you look at them and you go, okay, well, I can understand why I understand why they tried this. There seems to be some logic and some creativity in that. But then there's other machines. Have you noticed that there's some machines that they put out there and just like, what were they thinking? It's like they don't give it any weapons to speak of. It's like a Roomba. They just put like a little knife on the front of a Roomba and like, oh, we're just going to poke holes in it. It's like, I don't think that you really.
Just happy to be there.
Yeah. Paint a giant target bullseye on it.
Right. It's leaking oil as it goes out. This would be what I would do. What I would like to do is build a machine.
Robotic slinky. I'm sorry.
Build a machine that looked like a giant bear, like a cuddly teddy bear. And it's like, it just rolls around and everybody's like, well, what's that thing going to do? How? And when the other machine got close, I would push a button and it would just explode. So it's like the self-destructing, and it would just blow the other machines to smithereens.
They need a robotic stingray. Mm-hmm. Robotic stingrays that just kind of go around the floor, pick it up.
Super suction.
Yep.
Right. It just sucks the other ones up. All right, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try to get Juwan's rant here.
This isn't necessarily a rant, but I've been trying to crack the nut on Walmart because almost everyone says
you might want to upload it to your computer.
Yeah.
And then do the share screen.
There's a lot of background noise, my friends. You hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I would if you can get it, email it to your, download it, email it to your
should have done it before we started.
Share screen.
Shouldn't I? I should have done it before we started.
But he didn't leave a lot of time.
Okay. So keep talking about pro wrestling.
Well, I was just going to ask Luke if how some of the other things are going that he's been if you're doing shows and some of the stuff that we've been working on. How has that gone?
I haven't had a show since the last one on near St. Patrick's Day. But I have one in August that I think I can do as much time as I want because I'm actually like the feature spot. So that'll be interesting. I haven't
That's
had
not
a
how
chance.
feature spots work.
Oh yeah,
You should let them know. Do as much time as you want.
I'm
You can
being
be featured.
featured. I can go as long as I want. But for me, anything 20 to 30 minutes is going to be more than I've ever done anyway. So
Yeah.
it'll feel like I'm going forever. But no, I haven't been able to do the grandma birthday cards bit because I haven't found a way to fit it into my flow. But maybe
As
with
far
this
as
feature,
segueing in?
yeah, because it's a random childhood thing that I don't know. I like all of my sets to have some kind of story arc, which is dumb for short sets, but that's what I do. And I haven't found a way to weasel it in yet.
Yeah, I always just say just start telling the story. You can transition to whatever. Just say, oh, here's a random story I want to tell you. But yeah, because you can do it. I have a friend who's always like, yeah, but this doesn't. How do I transition? I'm like, just start a different topic.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I don't fully know how to set it up either, because it's basically my grandma was really sweet, I guess, or I don't know. That doesn't seem like a very interesting setup.
Very interesting to talk about your sweet grandma.
Yeah, about how she would send cards for every holiday, and then she got Alzheimer's and started sending like multiple cards. That's the gist of it.
I mean, you could always talk about holidays if you needed a lead in, if there was a way to.
That's true.
Okay.
I haven't found a way to get my gift bags rant either, but I think cards and gift bags kind of go together. I could probably try to pair those. Oh, there you go.
Do you see it?
Yep.
But I can't see you guys anymore. Does that matter?
We're on the side.
No, you're not.
Well, we are on my side.
Oh, I see. Okay, never mind. Here we go. Here we go, everybody. Juwan's rant. This is probably going to sound like garbage, but
Or nothing at all.
If garbage made no noise. Did you share the audio? I mean, clearly you didn't. I'm just saying. Why do people do that? I don't know why I just did that. Instead of just being... There's something to rant about. I mean, did you do this when it's obvious? Did you shut off the water and the whole place is flooded? You know? Did you shut? Clearly, you didn't.
Well,
Thanks, Joanne.
I'd say his performance is pretty good. I don't know about the words. John, can you hear us?
Clearly, you can.
what?
We can't hear anything.
I can hear it.
Oh, that's hysterical.
What do you guys you hear nothing?
Nothing.
That's why I said that. That's why I'm like, did you share the audio? Clearly, you didn't.
No, I couldn't hear you guys.
Oh, that's hysterical.
I could hear it just fine. Okay, it's not going to work. Well, we'll put him in.
Did you when you share it? There's usually like a share audio, I think.
Oh, you think? Now you tell me.
Clearly there is.
All right. Well, let me unshare this. How do I stop?
John is just enjoying it by his
I'm just
lonesome.
enjoying it. I couldn't hear you guys. I mean, I knew you were talking, but I couldn't. Also share audio.
We actually had a great topic going.
Yeah.
People who ask a question knowing full well what the answer is because you were doing it. And I go, John, did you share the audio?
Okay, now
And then Clearly you didn't.
Well, it wouldn't
He
it
shared it
won't
with
share the
himself.
audio in that. You have to you can only share the audio with the tab or the entire screen. So I'm going to do the entire screen. It's probably going to make a horrifying sound.
Whoa.
Oh.
All right, hang on a second. I'm going to hit play, and you guys tell me if you can hear it. I probably won't be able to hear it now.
This isn't necessarily a ramp, but I've been trying to crack the nut on
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Walmart, because almost everyone says something to the effect of, I hate Walmart. I don't want to get a Walmart. I hate it. And for one thing, you find yourself there. I don't care if you hate it or not, you're going to get there. But I don't think you should feel so bad about that. Absolutely everyone is welcome at Walmart. Walmart just takes you as you are. You don't even have to get dressed up. To Target, you have to put on long pants and a collared shirt. But Walmart, you can roll right out of bed and walk right into a Walmart. And not to mention that they have absolutely everything. Not everything. You might go in wanting something and they'll have something really close to that. So you get almost what you want, everything you want. But every single class is represented in there, every single walk of life. I can't say that I probably haven't met a senator or a dignitary, but the real people, you and me, we're in there. And then people who don't belong in any store at all, they can still go to a Walmart. And they can be a part. Walmart, in a way, is its own society, really. So the people of Walmart, there was these blogs that would call the people of Walmart, and they would take pictures of them and post them, and people would laugh, but they accept you there. You can get a jar of spaghetti sauce and just eat it in the aisle. That's Walmart. That's America. I don't know. That's the American dream, really. You can try on clothes, right? You don't need a dressing room. You could just throw it right on, take your shirt off, and try the one on there. You could try on underwear, and they're not going to call the cops. You can try out their bicycles, in the aisles. So what I'm saying is, Walmart is as we should all be, welcoming to everyone. You let everyone just sample everything you have.
I like how he wrapped it up with like a motivational speech at the end.
I know, you just need like the Battle Hymn of the Republic playing behind him.
Everyone is welcome at Walmart, except cashiers.
Walmart is as we all should be. Accepting and welcoming of everyone.
Why did he choose spaghetti sauce as the thing that you're going to crack open and eat in the aisle? That's so funny.
Well, that's what people do. Apparently, that's a big dish for people. Apparently.
What about people that eat things in the grocery store? I've seen that phenomenon often enough to where it's actually apparently a thing that people. Mm-hmm. What is the reasoning there? I'll pay for it anyway.
No, so the rule is if you eat your groceries before you get to the checkout line, you don't have to pay for it.
Mm. I didn't know that was the rule.
Yeah.
I kind of assumed that it didn't matter.
So you just go and you grab like a steak and you're like, excuse me, can I just come back there for a second? Just cook yourself up a steak and you're shopping. Mm. I like these, like they accept you there. No, they accept your money. If you have money, they accept you.
That is the minimum standard.
It is true that everybody eventually ends up at Walmart. Everybody's going to go to Walmart at some point, and it's unavoidable. Just like everybody is eventually going to die. Eventually you're going to end up in a coffin, but before that, you're going to end up at
I
Walmart.
like how he said the thing about, I've never met a senator or a dignitary, and I'm like, what else? What other people? I haven't met a king there. I haven't met.
I've never met a genius there.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen it. I don't know that I've seen anyone in like a business suit there
At Walmart?
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
You may not go at 3 a.m. like I do, so that's when the real show.
I've definitely seen people in suits in Walmart.
I didn't realize also that Target had a dress code, because I've been to some Targets and they were not following the dress code apparently.
Must be regional.
Yeah. Get on the top hat. Good day, we're off to Target.
Well, there is something to be said though for the attitude that people have about Walmart when people do hate it. People just hate on Walmart, but still will get things from it, and that's worth commenting on, I guess, that we have this loathing of things that actually improve our lives.
Well, is it that they hate Walmart or they hate the Walmart experience? Because it's like, I try to go and there's no people. Shocking, I know. But there's always people at Walmart. But the fewer people, the better. So it's more the experience of going to Walmart. And like I said, yeah, you could try on anything or whatever. But it's a store. It has pretty much everything you need. So some of it's poorly made and cheap, and that's great. Other stuff there's some value there. But it's the people. And some of the people that it attracts are not people you want to be.
Are people like me, right? Yeah. I mean, it's people
there,
like me
so
I go to Walmart, right? And so to run down the people who shop at Walmart is to run down yourself. And what is there to hate about Walmart? I mean, they have everything. The prices are reasonable. The return policy. I mean, you can return literally anything to Walmart. Anything. It doesn't matter.
Jar of spaghetti sauce.
It does not matter. They do not care. It's like you can take things into Walmart that you obviously did not get at Walmart. Broken pieces of Grecian pottery. Things that, like, you could take an 8-track tape player. You could take a broken 8-track tape player back to Walmart today and say, "Hey, this doesn't work," and they would take it back.
You could bring a mug that says Target and be like, "Yeah,
you can. You can bring a half-eaten Big Mac back to McDonald's or back to Walmart, and they will take it back. They have a return policy. They do not care. You can return anything.
And if you want to dress up, you can go to Walmart's classier brother, which is Sam's Club. You flash your ID membership, and I don't see a lot of pajamas in Sam's Club.
What's interesting is that Sam's Club looks like a Walmart that's not quite there yet. You know what I mean? It's like everything hasn't been completely unpacked. Everything hasn't been put on the shelves properly. But that's the one that you have to show your card to get into. So it's this weird sort of backwards, like Sam's Club. Ooh, you got to show us your card. Or, I'm sorry, sir, you're not good enough. You're not worthy to come in and walk around our unfinished warehouse. But anybody can walk into Walmart, which is upscale from Sam's Club in its presentation.
Well, and then you have something like Ross, where they barely have shelves. All the clothes are just thrown on the floor, and it's like a giant swap meet with only not as clean.
It's like a slightly less sanitary flea market.
Yeah, it's like going into a child's room trying to. That's what it is. Just go in there.
It's like if a toddler was doing the stocking at a retail store, that's what happens at Ross.
Yeah. Don't they just match up colors? Isn't that their primary method of sorting?
Yeah, these are the same.
Pink stuff over here.
Yeah. I only got one shoe. Doesn't matter. It's the right color.
That's why it's half off.
Yeah.
It's like, going to Ross is like going to it's like being in an Indiana Jones movie. You know, you get like one piece that you need for the staff over here, and then you got to go over here. So here's one shoe, and then I got to find the other shoe, and I think that might be over in the other corner of the store.
Mm-hmm.
So
In the pit of vipers.
Yeah. It's an archaeological dig. That is raw stress for less.
The whole we have a massive quantities of things, and so you can and somehow buying things in bulk has never been dressed up. They don't even try to dress it up. It's almost like the people that sell things in bulk, like I'm going to go buy a pallet full of Raisin Bran or whatever. And it's like, they don't put even carpeting down on the floor, and they don't put chandeliers and the lighting and everything. It's just like, well, these people that are going to buy a pallet of Raisin Bran, they're forklift people, right? They don't need fancy decorations. They don't need anything. They just want to get in, get their stuff,
ton of Raisin Bran,
get a metric ton of Raisin Bran, take it out to the pickup truck, and be done. They're not into the pretense of class, and they know that there is no place where you can buy bulk that's not basically a barn, right? It's all third world. It's a third world marketplace when you buy bulk. But the more, have you noticed that we're onto something here? Like, the smaller the quantity, the fancier the place is that you buy it from, and the more you pay for it. So, like, when you start to get into, like, you go to a like a Kroger or a Meijer, you go to like a grocery store, and now instead of buying a pallet full of lettuce, you're going to buy it's pre-chopped in a little baggie, and it's $14 for this. But you go into a really nice store, with carts and music and decorations on the wall. There's a thing that says produce, and there's paint on the walls, and that's what you're paying for. But the actual quantity, the amount of stuff that you get, as it gets smaller, as there's less of it, you pay more for it. But it's a nicer environment that you acquire it in.
I prefer the hunt. I like to go into Sam's Club with my flashlight and my climbing gear, and find what I need.
You also go in after hours.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm a Plus member, so I get to go in an hour early.
Oh.
Which I would never get up that early to go to Sam's Club, but I can.
Fancy. Well, you go into Sam's Club, and you need a machete to fight off, the dangers, the fauna, and then you don't need anything. You don't need any protection whatsoever when you go into the more upscale places. You go into Target, or you go into Meijer, someplace to buy groceries. You can walk in there, and you won't be in any danger, and it's pleasant. And you think to yourself, you walk into one of those stores and you go, you know what? I would like to have my den look like this. I would like to have a room in my house that has the decor of the produce department at Meijer. You
never have to ask a Sam's Club employee if they have something in the back, because you're already in the back. This is the back.
True. You never wonder, what are they holding out on us?
Well,
I have opened a pallet that wasn't stocked yet, because I was like, I see it right there. I'm gonna go ahead and just
it's on the truck. It's still on the truck.
Yeah, it's not that high. Nobody said anything.
There is an experience though that kind of combines all of that, and that's IKEA. If you've been to IKEA, you go in and it's fancy and it's set up and it's nice. And the further you progress through IKEA, all of a sudden you get to that warehouse section where you have to take your own forklift and grab the things off the shelves. And there's a lady trying to carry a 300-pound, table. So it starts off, it's nice. It's like, oh, here's this furniture and sit down and enjoy. And it's beautiful. Oh, don't you feel like you're in a model home? And then you just progress a little more, and then there's just drawers and drawers of spoons and silverware and plates, and it starts to get a little more warehousey, and then you get to the end, and it's just all concrete and slabs and just here,
and
put
a
on
family living in a box,
exactly.
Huddled around a fire.
They got donkeys with carts.
It's like traveling the world.
What happened? What happened? How did I get here? It's just the back of IKEA.
Yeah, and then you have
these-
you have a restaurant because it's so large you have to stop and eat a meal because you've been there for 7 hours trying to find your way out. And then here's this weight belt and here's this forklift over there. Just help yourself to the thing that you wanted.
You need to hire a guide to get you back to the checkout.
Yeah. And then you leave IKEA and you're like 4 blocks away from where you parked because it's so large, the entrance. It is. It's like going through your own little magical mystery tour. It just progressively gets worse. Starting out in the country, ending up in the suburbs, or going to the suburbs, and then in the inner city, and then you're like, why are we at a bus station? Why are we?
Yeah, it's like going from the front of IKEA to the back of IKEA is actually walking through the decline of civilization.
The cashiers are just cavemen with fire burning and.
Mm-hmm. By the time you get to the back of the room, yeah, they don't know numbers. They don't have language anymore. They haven't discovered mathematics. They're grunting and gesturing.
It's truly an experience. If you haven't done that, you need to go to take a weekend because it's going to take you that long to get through there.
What do IKEA? All right, I'm stopping this.